They call me a bad boy, but you knew better. They saw the leather and the scars, the midnight highway, the old guitar. They heard the stories, believed the lies, never saw the hurt behind my eyes. You were the one who stayed around when everybody else left town. You touched the heart beneath the skin and made me want to live again. You said there's still a good man somewhere inside of you. I believed it because you did too. I'm just a bad boy with a broken heart. You were the only light when my whole world went dark. They saw the trouble, you saw the truth. I lost myself the day I lost you. Now every road, every lonely night takes me back to your memory tonight. I'm just a bad boy, still missing you. Your photograph is on my dash, beside the memories I couldn't trash. Every old song we used to know still finds a way to hurt me slow. I tried to love, I tried to forget, but you're the only goodbye I can't accept. Maybe I wasn't bad, maybe I was scared. You were the only person who ever really cared. I'm just a bad boy with a broken heart. You were the only light when my whole world went dark. They saw the trouble, you saw the truth. I lost myself the day I lost you. Now every road, every lonely night takes me back to your memory tonight. I'm just a bad boy, still loving you. If heaven has a highway, I'll drive it all night long. If there's another lifetime, I'll find where you belong. And if you see me coming, don't let me pass you by. I spent this whole life running from the love I couldn't survive. man you always believed I could be. They call me a bad boy, you called me yours, and somehow that was enough. I spent my whole life trying to be a good man. I just never learned what that meant. You loved me when my pockets were empty, when all I had was an old guitar. You saw forever in a little house before I ever dreamed that far. You never asked for diamonds, you never needed gold. You only wanted my hand in yours when the nights got cold. But I kept chasing tomorrow like tomorrow owed me more, while the woman I loved was quietly waiting by the door. You said all I need is you, I said someday. I didn't know someday could disappear. I was the good man I said I'd be, but somewhere along the way I lost the man you saw in me. I gave you promises instead of time, gave you a future while you were losing mine. Now I have everything I thought I wanted except you, and I'm finally learning I was never the good man I promised you. Your coffee cup is still beside the window, your old sweater hangs behind the door. I still hear your footsteps in the hallway, even though they aren't there anymore. I found your letter yesterday inside our wedding album. You wrote, I never stopped loving you, I just stopped waiting. That sentence broke me deeper than goodbye ever could. I thought being a man meant providing everything. I never understood you needed me more than anything. I was the good man I said I'd be, but somewhere along the way I lost the man you saw in me. I gave you promises instead of time, gave you a future while you were losing mine. Now I have everything I thought I wanted except you, and I'm finally learning I was never the good man I promised you. If I could go back to that little house, I'd leave the world outside. I'd put my arms around you and stay there until sunrise. cried, just you and me, and all the time I thought we had. I wasn't the good man you needed me to be, but you were the best woman this heart ever knew. In me, if heaven gives me one more chance, I'll come home before you have to ask. I'll choose your hand over everything, because now I know a good man isn't what he owns, it's who he refuses to lose. I spend my whole life trying to become a good man. I just became one after I lost you. Everybody knew the bad boy, nobody knew the man. They saw the leather and the scars, the midnight roads, the smoky bars. They heard the stories, believed the lies, never looked deep inside my eyes. You were different from the start, you saw the fear behind my heart. You said there's more beneath that face. I should've let you stay, but I kept building walls. Every time you came close, you kept reaching for my heart. I kept giving you ghosts. You knew the man behind the bad boy, the heart I tried to hide. You saw the scared little boy, still living inside. Everybody called me trouble, you called me by my name. You believed there was a good man behind all that pain, but I pushed you away like I always did. Now I'm missing the only woman who ever saw me. I found your photograph last night, two young hearts beneath the porch light. You wrote 3 words behind the frame: don't be afraid. I kept that picture all these years, through every bar and every tear. You knew the man I could become before I knew his name. You asked me why I made you pay for every wound I carried from yesterday. I had no answer, I only ran and lost the woman who understood the man. You knew the man behind the bad boy, the heart I tried to hide. You saw the scared little boy, still living inside. Everybody called me trouble, you called me by my name. You believed there was a good man behind all that pain, but I pushed you away like I always did. Now I'm missing the only woman who ever saw me. If I could turn back One night in my life, I'd open every door I kept locked inside. I'd tell you I was broken, I'd tell you I was scared. Instead of pretending that I didn't care, you knew the man behind the bad boy before the world could see. You loved the broken parts I was afraid to let you keep. Now the town can have the bad boy, he's all they ever knew. But the man behind these scars still belongs to you. You were the only one who knew my real heart. The man behind the bad boy was always waiting for you. I never cheated, I never lied, I just kept forgetting to come home. said nothing when my old truck barely ran. She held my hand through every failure, believed I'd become a better man. She never asked for diamonds and never wanted a mansion. She just wanted me beside her when the day was finally done. But I kept chasing tomorrow like tomorrow wouldn't end. I thought love would wait forever. I didn't know forever bends. She said, do you remember why you fell for me? I said, of course I do. She whispered, then why don't you love me like you used to? I wasn't bad enough to hate, but I was bad enough to lose her. I gave her everything but me, and somehow that was worse. She didn't leave because she stopped loving me. She left because she finally stopped waiting. Now every empty room feels like a truth I can't escape. I wasn't bad enough to hate her. I was just bad enough to lose her. Her coffee cup is in the cupboard, her picture's still beside the bed. I hear her laughter in the hallway, even though she's miles ahead. She left one letter on the table, I still know every word by heart. You weren't cruel enough to break me, you were distant enough to tear us apart. I read it every Sunday when the house gets cold and still, and wonder how a man can love somebody yet make her feel alone. I thought bringing home the money was the same as bringing home my heart. I didn't understand that love can disappear before two people actually part. I wasn't bad enough to hate, but I was bad enough to lose her. I gave her everything but me, and somehow that was worse. She didn't leave because she stopped loving me. She left because she finally stopped waiting. Now every empty room feels like a truth I can't escape. I wasn't bad enough to hate her. I was just bad enough to lose her. Just sit there by her side. I'd listen to every story, I'd hold her when she cried. I'd choose one quiet night with her over everything I chased in life. But I was one more chance to choose. I won't be the man who loves her and still finds a way to lose. I wasn't bad enough to hate, I was just bad enough to lose her. I was the reason she left. I used to say she changed. Now I know I was the one who did. She loved me when I had nothing, when my old truck barely ran. She believed in every dream before I ever had a plan. She stood beside me through the hard years, held my hand through every fall. Then I finally became successful and somehow lost it all. I thought a bigger house could make her happier. I thought money could replace the time I never gave her. She never wanted everything, she only wanted me. I was the reason she left. I finally understand. She didn't stop loving me, she just couldn't keep waiting. I gave her everything except the man she needed. I built a life around us and forgot to live it. Now every empty room repeats what I can't forget. I was the reason she left. Missed another birthday, another dinner gone cold, another conversation I promised we'd have tomorrow. She asked me, do you still see me? I said, of course I do. But the truth is I was looking through her instead of looking at her. One night she packed a suitcase and left my ring beside the door. She said, I don't hate you. Then she whispered, I just can't lose myself trying to love you anymore. I wanted to stop her, but pride held me still. That was the last night she ever called this place home. I can't escape. She gave me every chance I gave her, another reason to wait. I thought she would always stay. I thought love couldn't disappear. Now I understand you can lose somebody while they're still standing there. If I could go back, I'd put the phone away. I'd sit beside her and listen. I'd trade every dollar, every award, every late night deal for one ordinary evening with her again. But regret doesn't open doors, It only teaches you which ones you should walk through.
But I'll never stop loving her. She wasn't asking for perfection, she was asking to be heard. I built a future she couldn't live inside, and now the man I became has to live with goodbye. If love ever gives me another chance someday, I'll never make her wonder if she's worth my time again. She didn't leave because she stopped loving me. She left because I forgot how to love her. I was the reason she left.
Finally became the man she needed, just too late. She loved me when I had nothing, when my old truck wouldn't start. She saw a future in my eyes before I ever knew my part. I promised her a better house, a better life, a better name. I thought working every hour was the way to prove my love. But while I built tomorrow, I was losing yesterday. And every I'll be home soon put another mile between us. She never needed everything, she just needed me. I'm too late to be her good man, too late to hold her hand. I finally learned what love was after she stopped waiting. Except the time she needed. I built the life she dreamed about, but forgot to live inside it. Now I'm standing where we started, with a heart that understands. I'm finally the good man, just too late to be her man. To leave the porch light on until I came home at night. I thought she'd always wait for me, I thought we'd always be alright. Then one night the light was gone, her suitcase by the door. She looked at me with tired eyes, like she'd done this before. She said, I don't need your promises, I've heard them all before. I needed you beside me, not another reason to wait for you. I reached for her, but she stepped away, not because she stopped loving me, because she couldn't keep losing herself. I'm too late to be her her good man. Too late to make it right. I finally learned to listen after she stopped trying. I gave her years of promises. She gave me every chance. I became the man she needed after she left my hands. Now every empty morning reminds me where I stand. I'm finally the good man, just too late to be her man. If I could go back to that little house, I'd leave the whole world outside. I'd turn off my phone, sit beside her and stay until sunrise. I'd tell her she was beautiful. I'd ask about her day. I'd hold her like tomorrow wasn't guaranteed. But time doesn't give refunds, and regret doesn't change yesterday. About the things I'd done. It was the coffee in the morning, the hand I should have held, the little moments I kept missing while I was building something else. If she ever hears this song, I hope she knows I finally understand. I became the man she needed, just too late to be her man. The porch light's gone, but I still come home to the man she always wanted me to be. Too late. Just too late. If you forget my name tomorrow, I'll still remember yours. We built a little life from ordinary days. Morning coffee and the games our children played. 20 years of photographs along the wall. I thought I'd remember every moment. Then one winter morning, you asked where we were. I smiled and held your hand and tried not to let you see the hurt. You looked into my eyes like you were searching for someone. I whispered, it's me, the man you used to love. I still love you in the dark, when you don't know who I am. When the memories disappear, I'll hold your trembling hand. You may forget our yesterday, you may forget our home, but I'll remember every reason I could never leave you alone. And if tomorrow takes your memories away, I'll still love you in the dark. You forgot the little diner where we had our first date. Forgot the song we danced to on our 22nd wedding day. One night you saw our picture and asked me who she was. I said, she's the woman I loved. You smiled and said, was. I couldn't answer, so I kissed your hand. You didn't know my name, but somehow when I held you, you smiled the same way you did when we were 22. I still love you in the dark, when you don't know who I am, when the memories disappear. I'll hold your trembling hand. You may forget our yesterday, you may forget our home, but I'll remember every reason I can never leave you alone. And if tomorrow takes your memories away, I'll still love you in the dark. Maybe love was never about remembering every day. Maybe it's the feeling that refuses to fade away. You forgot the stories, but you never forgot my touch. And somehow that was enough. Because loving you was never about memory, it was always about being here. If you forget me tomorrow, don't be afraid. I'll remember for both of us. I still love you in the dark. You didn't leave me empty. You left me with everything that still remembers you. You coffee cup is by the window, your sweater's hanging by the door. There's a picture from my wedding I can't look at anymore. I still reach across the bed before I wake up and remember that the woman I was holding hasn't been here in years. You took your suitcase, you took your heart, but somehow you left every piece of us behind. You left me with your ghost, living in this house, in every empty room where we used to laugh out loud. I hear you when it rains, I see you when I close my eyes. You go from my life, but you never said goodbye. You left me with your ghost, and I don't know how to let it go. I changed the furniture, I painted every wall, I threw away the old things, but I couldn't change it all. There's still a song inside my phone that I can't bring myself to delete, because for 3 minutes every night you're still here with me. I thought moving on meant leaving yesterday, but memories don't need a place to stay. You left me with your ghost, living in this house, in every quiet hallway where your footsteps used to sound. I hear you when it rains, I feel you in the cold. You're somewhere living, but I'm still living with what we lost. You left me with your ghost, and I don't know how to let it go. Maybe the ghost isn't you, maybe it's the man I was supposed to become. The husband who came home early, the man who listened, the man who chose love before tomorrow. Maybe that's who I'm mourning, the life we never got to live. But I'm finally letting go, not because I stopped loving you, but because I finally know some people aren't meant to return, some doors aren't meant to open, and sometimes loving someone means learning how to live with what is broken. You left me with your ghost, and I carried it too long. Your coffee cup is gone, but somehow I still remember
how you held it. Goodbye.
We were almost forever. We thought forever was something you promised. We never knew it was something you had to protect. We were young with 2 old bicycles and a dream too big for this town. Sunday coffee in a little apartment, laughing when the rent was running out. You said we'd make it through the hard years. I said I'd never let you go. We didn't have much money, but we had a love we thought we knew. Then life got busy and the years got loud. Somewhere between tomorrow, we stopped reaching out. We were almost forever, almost everything, almost the 2 old people we promised we'd become. We were almost forever until we lost our way, still loving each other, but forgetting how to stay. There wasn't another lover, there wasn't someone else, just 2 hearts growing quiet while we were trying to build a life. We were almost forever, and that's what hurts the most. I remember your coffee every morning, the way you sang while making dinner. The little things I thought would last forever are the things I miss the most now. I worked late to build a future. You waited up beside the door. I thought I was protecting what we had while you were wondering what it was for. You asked me, do you still know me? I said, of course I do. But somewhere inside I knew I hadn't asked how you were doing in far too long. We were almost forever, almost everything, almost the 2 old people we promised we'd become. We were almost forever until we lost our way, still loving each other, but forgetting how to stay. There wasn't another lover, there wasn't someone else, just 2 hearts growing quiet while we were trying to build a life. We were almost forever, and that's what hurts the most. If I could go back to that little house, I'd put down my phone and sit beside you. I'd ask about your dreams, I'd listen to your fears, I'd hold you through the silence instead of letting it grow. Maybe forever wasn't promised, maybe forever was every little day we chose each other. nothing could ever end. We were almost forever, and I'll carry that forever, even if you don't. We didn't stop loving, we just stopped knowing how to stay. We were almost forever. Always thought goodbye would sound like something I never knew. It could sound like silence. 12 years and 1,000 mornings, your coffee cup beside my own. I thought those little things were forever. I never knew how fast forever goes. I came home late that evening, another long day, another excuse. 2 glasses waiting on the table, and a silence I couldn't break through. You looked at me like you were searching for someone you used to know. Then you whispered, was that the night you stopped loving me? The night your heart finally let me go. You weren't angry, you weren't crying, you just looked at me like I was someone you didn't know. And I didn't lose you when you walked away. I lost you that night. You said, do you remember the last time you came home? Because you wanted to see me. I searched for an answer, but the truth was standing there. I had been giving you 1,000 tomorrows while you were begging for one tonight. You stopped asking if I'd change, you stopped waiting by the door. And somewhere in that silence, you didn't love me anymore. You reached for your wedding ring and slowly let your hand fall. I knew before you said it, we were already gone. Was that the night you stopped loving me? You
I didn't lose you when you walked away. I lost you that table, I'd leave my phone and sit beside you. I'd listen to every word I was too busy to hear. I'd tell you I was afraid I'd never be enough. But pride made me silent, and silence made you leave. Your memory, I finally understand what you were trying to say. Love doesn't always die with a goodbye. Sometimes it disappears one quiet night at a time. And if you ever wonder when I finally lost you, it wasn't the morning you walked away. It was the night you stopped loving me. I still remember the way you looked at me, not angry, just finished. That was the night I lost you. I always thought goodbye would sound like something I never knew. It could sound like silence. 12 years and 1,000 mornings, your coffee cup beside my own. I thought those little things were forever. I never knew how fast forever goes. I came home late that evening, another long day, another excuse. 2 glasses waiting on the table and a silence I couldn't break through. You looked at me like you were searching for someone you used to know. I can't unlove you. I learned how to live without you. I just never learned how to stop loving you. I still remember your morning coffee, the way you laughed when I got it wrong. The little things I thought I'd forget still live inside me when the night gets long. We had 16 years together, 1,000 memories I can't erase. I thought losing you would kill me, but losing you just changed the way I breathe.
You told me let me go, I said I'll try, but some promises don't know how to die. I can't unlove you, no matter how hard I try. I can walk away, but I can't make you disappear inside. I can change my number, I can move across this town, but every road I take still brings your memory around. I don't need you to come back, I know our time is through, but I'll spend this life learning how to live with the truth that I can't unlove you. I dated someone after you. She was kind and good to me, but I caught myself comparing every smile to what he used to be. I told her I was healing, she said she understood, but I knew I wasn't ready, and I never wanted to hurt her, so I let her go. Maybe love doesn't disappear when the relationship ends. Maybe it just changes into something we carry until the end. I can't unlove you, no matter how hard I try. I can smile again, but I can't rewrite what lives inside. I can burn the photographs, I can throw away all things, but I can't erase the woman who taught my heart to feel. I don't need you to come back, I know our time is through, but I'll spend this life learning how to live with the truth I can't unlove you. Maybe someday I'll see you with somebody new. Maybe I'll finally smile and mean it when I say I'm happy for you. But somewhere in my heart there'll always be a room where the younger version of me still loves you. And I don't think that's something I need to lose. Stay together, I'll always be grateful that you are mine. So if you ever wonder whether I forgot you, I didn't. I just learned how to live without you. Can't unlove you, and maybe I never needed to. You were home until you left. I thought home a place. Then you left, and I learned better. Your coffee cup was by the window, your shoes were beside the door. I knew the sound of your footsteps before you walked across the floor. You knew when I was hurting before I ever said a word. You could turn an empty room into the safest place I'd known. I thought I was building our future. Every hour I stayed away, never saw the loneliness growing in the life we made. You asked me for my time, I promised you tomorrow. You asked me to listen, I gave you answers instead. You were home until you left. You were everything I knew. I thought these four walls were forever. I didn't know forever looked like you. Now the house is still standing, but it doesn't feel the same. Every room remembers you. Every silence says your name. I didn't lose a house when you walked away. I lost my home. Your picture's still in the hallway, the garden still grows outside. I still reach for your hand when I wake up at night. I changed the locks last winter, painted every wall again, but nothing changed the truth that I'm still missing you. You said I don't need a perfect life, I just need you to be here. I thought I had forever, I never heard the fear. You stopped waiting by the window, you stopped asking when I'd come. By the time I understood, you were already gone. You were home until you left. You were everything I knew. I thought these four walls were forever. I didn't know forever looked like you. Now the house is still standing, but it doesn't feel the same. Every room remembers you. Every silence says your name. I didn't lose a house when you walked away. I lost my If I could go back to the nights you waited, I'd leave every deadline, I'd forget every reason. I'd sit beside you and ask what you needed. I'd hold you close and never call tomorrow, because tomorrow was always stealing today.
standing in the same place with everything we made. But the woman who made it home is a memory I can't replace. You were home until you left. The house is still here, but home isn't. You were home until you left.
She didn't break my heart all at once. She just stopped holding it together. Your coffee cup is still beside the sink. Your photograph is hanging on the wall. I still remember every little thing about the woman who once had it all. You loved me through my worst mistakes. You stayed when I gave you reasons to go. I thought forgiveness lasted forever. I never knew how close you were to letting go. You didn't scream, you didn't blame me. You just said, there is no more us. You left my heart in pieces, scattered across our life. Every memory is a reminder of the woman I lost that night. She took the love, she took the laughter, she took the best of me and left behind a broken man trying to remember who he used to be. She left my heart in pieces and walked away with every reason I had to hear. If there was somebody else, you shook your head and said no. You said, I just can't keep waiting for a man who never shows. I watched you put your ring down on the kitchen table that night, and for the first time in my life I knew I had run out of time. I wanted to tell you I changed everything, but you had heard those words before. She left my heart in pieces, scattered across our life. Every memory is a reminder of the woman I lost that night. She took the love, she took the laughter, she took the best of me and left behind a broken man trying to remember who he used to be. She left my heart in pieces and walked away with every reason I had to hear. Maybe I deserve goodbye because I had 1,000 chances and I wasted every one. If I could go back to that kitchen table, I'd fall down on my knees and tell you everything I was too proud to say. But time doesn't listen to a man who regrets. And some doors close before you know they're closing.
She left my heart in pieces, but she left me with the truth. Love isn't something you can keep by saying I love you. You have to show it every morning, every night, every day. And I learned that lesson after the only woman I loved walked away. She left my heart in pieces, but somewhere in those pieces I still carry her name. I don't hate you, I just miss who we were. She left my heart in pieces.
Everybody moved on, I just never learned how. There's an old photograph beside my bed, two young hearts with everything ahead. You were laughing in that summer light, I can still remember that night. We promised we'd grow together, promised nothing could ever change. But I kept saying, maybe tomorrow, while you were slowly walking away. You wanted my time, I gave you promises. You wanted today, I kept giving you someday. She left me in yesterday, where our best days still remain. She took tomorrow with her and left me standing in the rain. Every memory still feels alive, every photograph still knows your face. The world kept moving forward, but she left me in yesterday. I drive past the little diner where you first said you loved me. The waitress still remembers us, but she doesn't remember me. Our old house has different curtains, someone else lives there now. But I still see you in the window when the evening sun goes down. I wonder if you ever think of me, or if you finally found your way. Maybe you learned to live in tomorrow while I stayed behind in yesterday. I thought I'd have forever to become the man you needed. I never knew forever could disappear so quietly. She left me in yesterday, where our best days still remain. She took tomorrow with her and left me standing in the rain. Every memory still feels alive, every photograph still knows your face. The world kept moving forward, but she left me in yesterday. If I could go across from you with coffee in my hands, and listen. Not promise, not explain, just listen. Because maybe yesterday wouldn't have become goodbye if I'd understood that today was all we had. She left me in yesterday, but I finally understand. She wasn't running from my memories, she was searching for a life ahead. I can't change the years, I can't bring her back, I can't turn goodbye around, but I can finally stop living in the place where I lost her. She left me in yesterday, and maybe that's where I need to leave her. Yesterday was beautiful, but it wasn't forever. She left me there, and I'm finally learning to walk away. She took the best of me. Truth is, she took the best part of me. I was a hard man when she found me, didn't know how to let somebody in. She saw something worth believing behind the walls I built within. She taught me how to laugh again, how to hold somebody close, how a house could feel like heaven when somebody waits at home. I never told her what she gave me, I just thought she'd always stay. I didn't know forever could disappear one day. She gave me more than love, she gave me back myself. She took the best of me when she walked away. She took the man I used to be, and every better day she taught my heart to open, then she left it in the rain. Now I have everything except the man she helped me become. She took the best of me, and I never gave it back. Still laugh sometimes, the way she taught me to. But then the room gets quiet, and I remember why. There's an old picture in the hallway of a man I barely know. He's smiling like tomorrow was somewhere he could go. I wonder if she the man she brought to life, or if she only remembers all the times I made her cry. She saw the good in me before I could see it too, and when she left, she took that version of me with you. She took the best of me
the man I used to be. And every better day, she taught my heart to open. Then she left it in the rain. Now I have everything except the man she helped me become. She took the best of me, and I never gave it back. If I could see her one more time, I'd never ask her to return. I'd only say thank you for every lesson I was too blind to learn. You didn't ruin me, you didn't steal my life. You showed me how to love, and taught me what it costs to lose her. Taught me still lives beneath my skin. She taught me how to love. She taught me how to forgive. She taught me that the best part of being alive is giving in. So even though she's gone and I still miss her every day, the best part she gave me will never fade away. She took the best of me, and somehow she left me better than I was before. She took the best of me, but she gave me the man I became. I thought time would change it, but your name still hurts. It's been years since you walked away, but some things never learn to fade. I moved across the country, changed the number on my phone. I learned to laugh with other people, learned to sleep alone. But every time I hear your name, I'm 25 again. Standing underneath the porch light, waiting for you to come home. I don't hate you, I don't blame you. That's what makes it hurt. Your name still hurts when somebody says it, like a knife I never see coming through my heart. Your name still hurts, though you're years away, 'cause every syllable still knows exactly where I break. I can't live without you, I can make it through the night, but your name still hurts every time it brings you back to life. I found your letter last December inside an old
old wooden box you wrote, I hope someday my name doesn't hurt you anymore. I read it 3 times, then I had to sit down because you were right about everything. I don't miss the woman you became after me. I miss the girl who believed we'd never end. Maybe that's the hardest part, loving someone you can't go back to. Your name still hurts when somebody says it, like a song I can't turn off, no matter where I go. Your name still hurts, though I learned to let you go. Some memories don't disappear, they just become a quieter home. I can't forgive you, I can't forgive myself, but your name still hurts because I still remember who I was with you. Maybe someday I'll hear your name and simply smile. Maybe I'll remember without wanting yesterday. Maybe I'll understand that losing you wasn't the end of my life, just the end of the life I thought we'd live together. Some people leave your life without ever leaving your heart behind. And if someone asks me if I ever loved you, I'll tell them the truth. Your name still hurts because loving you was the most beautiful pain I ever knew. Maybe one day your name won't hurt, but tonight it still does. Loved you after you left. I thought I knew what loving you meant. I didn't understand until you were gone. Your coffee cup was sitting by the window, your sweater hanging on the chair. I walked into our kitchen that morning and realized realized you weren't there. You left a note beside the coffee, 3 lines I still know by heart. I needed to feel loved while I was here, and that's where my regret starts. I thought we had forever, I thought tomorrow would be enough, but tomorrow never came, and I finally learned what I had lost. I loved you after you left, when there was no one left to hold. I loved every little thing about you that I was too blind to notice before. And the cruelest truth I've ever had to face is I loved you more after you left. I remember every night you waited, every dinner getting cold, every time you asked me if I still wanted this life. I always said, of course I do, but I never showed you how. I was busy building tomorrow while you were lonely in today. I kept giving you promises when you needed me to stay. You didn't leave because you stopped loving me. Because you couldn't keep loving me alone. I loved you after you left, when there was no one left to hold. I loved every little thing about you that I was too blind to notice before. To wait, and the cruelest truth I've ever had to face is I loved you more after you left. If I could have one ordinary evening, I'd give you everything I missed. No speeches, no promises, no someday. Just my hand inside yours, and the time you always asked for. But some lessons arrive too late, and some apologies have nowhere left to go. You'd heard me say how much your love had changed me before you walked away. Now I carry you in quiet places where nobody knows your name, and every beautiful memory comes with a little pain. If loving you means
missing you, then I'll carry that somehow, because I finally know what you meant to me. I just wish I'd known when you were still here. I loved you after you left, and that's the love I should have given you while you were here.
You left me loving you alone. I thought loving you was enough. I never noticed you were loving me alone. You used to sit beside me on that old living room couch, waiting for me to put my phone away and let the whole world out. You'd ask me how my day went, I'd say I'm tired, baby, never knowing every time I said it I was pushing you away. He never asked for diamonds, he never needed much. You only wanted my attention, you only wanted my touch. You kept saying we need to talk, I kept saying we'll find some time. I didn't know you were saying goodbye, one day at a time. You left me loving you alone. After all the years you stayed, I thought your heart would wait forever while I gave you yesterday. You were standing right beside me, but I never saw you there. Now I'm reaching through an empty room for a love I wouldn't share. You left me loving you alone, and now I'm the one who can't let go. You cooked dinner for two, even when I came home late. You stopped asking where I'd been, you stopped asking me to stay. I thought your silence meant forgiveness, I thought your patience meant you cared. I never understood that silence was the sound of you disappearing. The night you packed your suitcase, you didn't raise your voice, you just looked into my eyes like you'd already made your choice. You said I loved you for so long by myself, and something in me broke, because I finally heard what you had been saying for years. You left me loving you alone. After all the years you stayed, I thought your heart would wait forever while I gave you yesterday. You were standing right beside me, but I never saw you there. Now I'm reaching through an empty room for a love I wouldn't share. You left me loving you alone, and now I'm the one who can't let go.
listen to everything you'd say. I'd hold you like I meant it. I'd look into your eyes. I'd tell you that tomorrow was never worth your lonely nights, because I thought I was building a better life for us, but I was losing you while I built it. It's every little moment when you choose to really stay. And I chose tomorrow till you became yesterday. If you ever hear this song, I hope you know the truth. I loved you, I just didn't love you the way you needed me to. You left me loving you alone, and I finally know what that cost us.
Call a man lonely when nobody's around, but sometimes you're lonely with somebody sitting right beside you. There used to be laughter in this kitchen, little footsteps running down the hall, your coffee cup beside my morning paper, and your picture hanging on the wall. The kids grew up and found their own roads. The years went by without a sound. I kept telling myself we had forever, never noticed forever slowing down. You stopped asking me to stay, I stopped asking how you felt. We were living in the same house, but somewhere else. Now I'm just a lonely man in a house built for two. Got everything I ever wanted except a reason to come home to. There's a chair across the table that I still look toward at night. I have everything around me, but nothing feels alive. I'm not lonely because you're gone. I'm lonely because I let you go. Sometimes I pour 2 cups of coffee before I remember you're not here. Sometimes I hear your voice in the hallway, and for 1 second you're still near. I kept chasing after better days while you were asking for today. I thought working for our future was the same as making you stay. Never needed more. You just wanted me to walk through that door. Now I'm just a lonely man 'cause you're gone. I'm lonely because I let you go. If I could go back to one ordinary night, I'd leave the work behind and sit beside you. No promises about tomorrow, no excuses about the day. I'd simply hold your hand and listen. Maybe love was never something I had to find. Maybe it was waiting at my table every night, and I was too blind to see it. But I finally understand, a home isn't made of walls, it's made of someone's hands. And if I ever see you again, I won't ask you to return. I'll only say I'm sorry for every lesson I had to learn. I have a lifetime of memories in one empty chair. And if loneliness has taught me anything, it's that love was here, I just wasn't there. The house is quiet, the lights are low, and tonight, I'm just a lonely man. She never asked for forever, she only asked me to be there today. She wore that old blue dress the night I first saw her smile. She said she didn't need much, just wanted me to stay a while. She believed in every dream I was afraid to chase. She saw a better man in me before I ever saw his face. I told her, give me time, girl, I'll build a life for us. She smiled and kept believing, because that's what lovers do. I kept saying, after this, she kept waiting until she didn't. She was the girl I couldn't keep, the one I let slip through my hands. I thought she'd wait forever while I became another man. I chased every dream I thought would make me whole, but somewhere along the way I traded love for gold. Now I have everything I once thought I needed, except the girl I couldn't keep. There wasn't some goodbye fight. She just got tired of being lonely while sitting by my side. She said, I know you love me, but love can't live on someday. Then she packed her little suitcase and quietly walked away. I stood there in the doorway, too proud to ask her back, because I thought she'd change her mind. I didn't know that was the last chance I had. She waited for a man who would choose her first. I kept choosing tomorrow until tomorrow made it worse. She was the girl I couldn't keep, the one I let slip through my hands. I thought she'd wait forever while I became another man. I chased every dream I thought would make me whole, but somewhere along the way I traded love for gold. Now I have everything I once thought I needed, except the girl I couldn't keep. If I could see that young girl standing in that blue dress, I'd tell her, run while you can, because I wasn't ready to understand. I'd tell her she deserved a man who didn't need tomorrow to know what he had today. But she already knew. She just hoped I'd figure it out. Keep, and maybe that's my greatest regret. Not that she left, but that I gave her so many reasons to. She taught me how to love, then taught me what love costs. And every time I hear her name, I remember what I lost. I became the man promised her I'd be, just years too late for her to see. She was the girl I couldn't keep, but she'll always be the girl who changed me. I couldn't keep her because I kept choosing everything else.